If you want to become a DLS25 defense god who makes tackles like this, and this, you must make sure you watch this DLS defense tutorial to the very end, because I'll teach you 12 different tricks that will improve your defense skills in DLS25, and immediately after that I'll give you this DLS defense master file that you see right now. It contains a visual list of the more advanced defensive methods that are literally like hacks, so that it will be near impossible for people to score you in live DLS matches. Without wasting time at all, if it's your first time here on DLS Pro Zone, you should definitely tap the like button, subscribe, turn on post notifications if you enjoy the way I teach you DLS. Let's get into tip number 1. Using defenders that are either short or small like Lisandro Martinez or Grimaldo. These players are small and they cannot perform at optimal levels when it comes to DLS25. Players like Rudiger, Laporte, Van Dijk, Diaz, who are all at least over the height of 185 cm, will cover more defensive ground in less run time. For example, Van Dijk can take on Haaland, but a small centre back like Lisandro Martinez wouldn't stand a chance if your opponent in live matches has a striker that is as big and strong as Haaland. Here's an example of a situation where I use big players to create outstanding defensive blocks in live DLS matches. Now that you've seen that, just make sure you use defenders who are 185 cm and above, tall, strong, and solid in duels, especially in live matches. And yeah, I know Lisandro Martinez is a great player in real life, but the DLS25 man, he gets bullied for real. On to tip number 2. This one's sneaky. I've seen people in the top tiers of live DLS25 use Haaland as a center back. It's crazy, right? Yes, but it makes sense when it's time for corners. You can simply pause the game during corners and pull your big boys like Haaland, Isaac, or even Victor Osimhen. Bringing these big body players to the back and holding down your B button so hard when your opponent takes their corners will ensure that one of these big players will jump hard and ensure that the ball is either sent away by any means or nodded away. It's just like building a wall of giants. I'll show you a real life example of where I use a striker that's over 185 cm to knock the ball off during a corner in a live DLS match.
Whipped in.
Now that you've seen that, let's move to the next tip. This one is simple, but trust me, it's extremely important. Never ever pull your defenders out of their position. I mean it. The moment you pull defenders out, especially in live matches where you're playing with real opponents, an open space is created automatically, giving opponents who are playing with a wide view the opportunity to score if they are smart opponents. Here's what to do instead. When the ball is in the middle or just outside your box, don't use your defenders to apply pressure. Don't try to go and defend with your defenders. Use your midfielders to press your opponents. Let the midfielders hustle while your defenders stay in the back line and stay in shape like a solid wall, so that if anything goes wrong and your midfielders slip through, your big body defenders can actually keep the back line in control. So on to the next tip. I see this mistake all the time. The striker is through on goal, you hold the C button to rush your goalkeeper out too early, and what happens? You get chipped on and you get embarrassed in a live match. Yeah, I've seen that happen way too many times. Now here's what you should do. You need to analyze the opponent. If the opponent looks like they're about to shoot, that's when you rush out aggressively holding the C button. But when you analyze and it looks like they're about to chip your goalkeeper, you can trick them by holding the C button a while, rushing out a bit, and letting the C button go, so that makes a brilliant catch when your opponent does the chip. It's all mind games, and if you play it right, you win. It's literally that simple. Now on to the next tip. Knowing how to do what I'll teach you to do now in DLS25 is what separates noobs from pros. You need to know how to predict the play. Most people online, they're predictable. When you play DLS enough, you just start to see the patterns naturally. Now sometimes you can be wrong when you meet smart opponents in DLS live matches, but as you play, you will start to notice the patterns. You can literally use well-angled side tackles or just plain body blocks to shut them down before they even complete the move that you've predicted. The key is to anticipate, intercept, and dominate. That's how pros defend in DLS25. Let's move on to the next tip. If your defenders are tired around the 60 to 70 minute mark, they're finished, because your opponents can easily just run past them or get away with things they normally wouldn't have gotten away with just by simply changing their striker to a more energetic one. You can combat against this defensively in DLS25 by making sure they're done from around the 60 minutes to the 70 minute mark. You can find the sweet spot for yourself, and the players you should change are mostly your center backs and at least one pressing midfielder to keep that defensive press alive in the midfield. I'll show you a live clip of where I made changes and literally scored 2 more goals and conceded none at all, because I made smart substitutions and locked everything up in my defense.
Mbappe looks comfortable on the ball. What a chance! He's done it! Bruno Fernandes with a shot.
Now that you've learned that, let's quickly move on to the next tip. This tip I'm about to share as tip number 7 is psychological warfare, because it's literally back and forth between you and your opponents in live matches. But I'll save you figuring out and just teach you what to do. Right when the match starts or right after you score a goal, pause the game, go to the tactics and switch your team mentality to the defensive mode. Now you might wonder why, and I'll quickly tell you why. It's simply because after kickoff, when the game is just fresh, or after you score a goal against your opponent, they will always try to put a lot of attacking pressure by trying to aggressively press and respond with a goal. So whenever you're playing in live matches and the match is either early, or you just scored a goal, or the match is dying down and you're the one winning and your opponent is trying so hard to score, it's best to switch to a defensive playing mentality, because your whole team will just drop deeper into the field, get tighter in defense, and it becomes increasingly frustrating for your opponent to score. But you need to still pay attention to how much they press, so that you still know when to switch things back to an attacking mentality or a balanced one, so that you can get more goals for yourself if that is what you are looking for. If your opponent is a real bad man in DLS25, then it is advised to just play a defensive game and attack full on when you get the chance at a counter attack. And if you play the mind games right, you will always win. Now on to the next tip. I'm telling you seriously, you need to stop panic tackling or trying to press the slide button as much as you can. It doesn't work. It will get you a lot of red cards, and your opponents can easily get past your defensive line when you make some slides and miss totally. You need to master jockeying, and to do that you will need to hold down the B button and just glide while you run after your opponent. That way you're going to make sure you're always watching for his or her next move while you're running and holding down the B button. Taking things easy and being in control of the B button gives you balance, positioning and clarity. When the opponent makes the wrong move, then you go for a clean tackle. Tap B again, poke it out of their legs. Remember, rule number 1, big defenders are a must, because having these big bodied players at the back line will make these moves smooth, as opposed to running with a defender that has a small and weak body. Now I know you might be wondering, when do I slide then? Well, I'm still gonna get to that, but what you should know about sliding is that you should mostly do it from the side when you're intercepting a pass, never head on or from the back. That way you're gonna avoid red cards. We're still gonna get to the part of this video where we'll talk about sliding tackles, but as of right now, let's move on to the next tip. Trusting the auto switch will betray you. What you must do is make sure you have your player switch 200% manual. That way you take everything into your own hands and switch players how you want it, when you want it, and where you want it. So make sure you know exactly how to set it up the right way. I'll show you. Once you're set up, you just need to manually switch by tapping the C button, and all you have to do is watch your opponents carefully so that you know which of your players you can switch to and use to make the run and defend when you need to. Now that you've seen that, let's move on to the next tip. Slide tackles are dangerous, but if you get the angle right, no cards will be given to you. It's gonna seem as if you're cheating. Now let me show you what I mean. Do it from the side or do it from the front directly and just go for the ball directly. If you do it from the back, you're risking a yellow card, even worse, a red card, and you don't want that to happen because your opponent will annihilate you without a doubt. So there's a DLS slide guide that I've read myself. It has a lot of detailed teaching. It has dimensions. You can see what it looks like on the screen now. I literally have the file. I'll tell you where I got it from, and you can get it alongside the other one that I showed you in the beginning of the video. That is also a DLS master file, but a defense master file. After the next tip, I'm going to show you where to go to download these 2 files for yourself and improve your DLS skills beyond imagination. Now let's talk about formations. If you want balance in defense and attack, you should go with 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1, because when you set your team to an attacking mentality, they can go full on attack and get you goals, and when you set them to a defensive mentality, it's still a very thick formation to use. So these are just good examples of what I like to call defensively flexible formations, because you get the best of both worlds, both in defense and attack. But on the other hand, if you're up against a real DLS beast who is about to destroy you in a live match, you can choose to go full throttle and use a 5-3-2 or even a 5-4-1 defensive system. That way you can clog up the midfield, clog up the defense box, and play with a counter-attack mentality from the flanks. These are literally lockdown setups that's gonna set you up for massive success. Now on to the next tip, which is the last but not the least on what we have on our list today. I've just given you 11 pro tips that can turn you into a defensive stonewall in DLS25, but this whole thing wouldn't be complete if I didn't give you access to the 2 files that actually turn newbies into gods. It's so shocking that a lot of DLS gamers don't even talk about this. You just have to download it and go through it anytime you want, or go through it even before you go into every game. So to download these two files successfully, you have to pay very close attention, because if you do not, you might make mistakes and you will not be able to download these two DLS25 master files, which indirectly means you'll keep getting your ass whooped in DLS live matches. So pay very close attention. Now, the first thing you have to do is go to the two links I'll give you, but don't try to visit or click the links right now, because I need to explain how the download links work before you get there, so that I'll be sure you understand what you have to do when you get there to make sure you download the files into your device smoothly. Now, when you click or visit any of the two links I'll give you, the pages you'll be taken to will look just like what you see on my phone screen now. What you're supposed to do is go through the how it works part, but I'll just save you the time and tell you what they're trying to say so that you understand everything perfectly before you even get there. You might not know this, but most big tech companies on the internet are currently battling fake and spammy bot traffic. Literally, just last year, up to 51%. Yes, you heard that right, 51% of all web traffic were fake bots. And this is surging quickly due to the fact that artificial intelligence has made computers smarter, and the computers can now beat the normal recaptchas we used to fill out on the internet to prove we're not bots. And how this affects the DLS25 master file and the DLS25 slide tackle guide you're about to go and download is that there's a new way of proving that you're a human that only real humans can actually do. And don't worry, it takes literally 10 to 15 seconds. I did it myself. It's simple, and I'll show you everything right now. So just scroll to this part of the page where it will have the button that says begin download. When you click on that button, depending on what part of the world you live in, it's gonna take you to a simple page where you'll see stuff like this with a button telling you to subscribe. So you just enter a real phone number here, or it might auto detect the phone number that's in the device you're using. You can see what mine looks like. These verification pages are mostly run by the companies that provide internet connection in your country, so it works everywhere. You just click the button, do what they say, and as you can see, it auto detected my phone number, and I have clicked on the confirm button here where my mobile number is showing, and in under 2 seconds you can see that I have received a text message that tells me it was successful. Mine came from MTN because I'm making this video from South Africa, but what you see when you click on the begin download button and who you get your own success text message from might be different depending on where you live and the internet service company you use. I know that in some other countries people use internet service companies like Vodafone, Robi, Airtel, T-Mobile, Glow, Zain, Orange, Ncell, SCO Mobile, TCL, Sudani One, Ufone, EE, and literally a whole lot more out there. I can't even mention them all in this video. So it doesn't matter what part of the world you live in, it doesn't matter where you're watching from. What you will always see is a space for you to enter your real phone number, because bots can have real phone number. You're also gonna always see a button to subscribe or confirm. So just use your phone number to do exactly what I showed you. And once you've done just that and you've gotten this kind of success text message that I got, you can then go back to the main DLS master files download page, and when you get there you can see that the button is now accessible. So just click it again to download the file, because they now know you're a real human. And mind you, if you try to go back to the page without doing what you're supposed to do, without using a real SIM card just the way I showed you, it's gonna keep loading and it's gonna keep saying waiting for completion, just like you see here. So just do it. It's simple. It takes less than 10 seconds literally. And as you can see, the DLS defense master file has now been downloaded directly into my device, and I can start going through it. The two links you have to click on to go and download both the DLS25 defense master file and the DLS25 slide tackle guide are at the top of the pinned comment section in this video. These same links are also at the top of this video's description box below, and I'll also put these two links up on the screen now so that you can see what the download links are, copy them out and visit them by yourself if you do not know how to locate the description box or the comment section below. You can also ask me in the comments below and I can just send you the link. Last but not least, like this video, subscribe to the DLS Pros on YouTube channel, and make sure you turn on post notifications if you like the way I teach you DLS. Finally, comment your thoughts below. I'd like to hear from y'all. Now click those links below and go get those files. I'll see you on the pitch, and I hope I beat you when I see you on the pitch. Let's go.